go so that they can join. Punctuality is important for us. Please have an open mind to what they are teaching us. We are one class, and we want participation from everybody so that we can make the class interesting. Please treat each other with respect. And if you have a question, you can ask or put it in the chat box. So please note your mic is always muted. If you have a question, you can please raise up your hand. So next, I will try to introduce our boss for today. Is somebody I followed on LinkedIn and I've learned a lot from. So his name is Mr. Folorunso Ajala. And as you can see from the slide over here, there are a lot of things I have to talk about. He's a business intelligence analyst at Blue Chip Technology, Lagos, Nigeria. He's the program lead at Data Click Educational Hub, which is a community service. In his professional experience, he's a certified Microsoft Power Platform developer. He's a Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate. He's a Microsoft Certified Fabrics Analytics Engineer. Wow. He's even a Certified Databricks Data Analyst Associate. He has over 2 years experience as a business intelligence analyst. He is a corporate trainer with deep understanding of various adult learning methodologies, training methodology, and instructional design. He has trained over 2,000 participants in Microsoft Power BI, SQL, Power BI, Microsoft Office, especially data analysis in relation to business development. He has built robust analytic reports dashboard, which I can testify to on LinkedIn, and is a co-organizer of Data Click Educational Hub. So I'm going to hand over the mic to you, sir. Please, let's welcome him by giving me a round of applause. Thank you. So, Mr. Folorunso, you have the floor now.
Very much, Gani, for that welcoming and for the introduction. Please, can you confirm you can hear me clearly and I'm audible enough?
Yes, sir. I can hear you clearly, sir.
All right. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Please kindly rehearse if you can hear me. You can. I'm audible enough. Kindly rehearse. Let me see our audience. Though I will have loved the section to be a little bit interactive, but I understand that we want to make sure that things are in order. There is no distraction and all. Yeah. So okay, but it's fine. I believe that when there is a need for interaction, I will definitely let us know, and I will you can raise your hand. Probably I will tell the moderator to give us access to the mic, right? Okay. So well, I won't be introducing myself again because Ganil have done justice to that already. So today we'll be looking at so first of all, let me first appreciate our organizer, my senior boss, Hadewale Yusuf, for giving us this platform, to learn from one another, because I see this journey as a learning for everybody, whether the mentor or the mentee. We are all learning together. It's not a one-way thing. We are all learning together. So I give my boss an accolade for that. I'm also one of his, let me say mentee. I think some years ago, maybe like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I did some, boot camp under him as well. And thank God that today we are where we are today. So I believe that every other person on this call too, you can also be where you want to be tomorrow or today as well. So it's a good privilege that we are all here today, and I think I'm really happy. Let me say, with the number of people that are on this call, it really showed that we know what we are doing, and this is like an advanced class. It's not a class of it's not a beginner class at this moment, it's an advanced class, right? I believe. So without saying too much or too much of stories, please let's start today's session. And maybe for people that are not following me on LinkedIn, you can follow me on LinkedIn, follow on Jella, or maybe before today's section, I will drop my LinkedIn so that you can connect with me as well. So that because the journey does not end today, it's supposed to be a continuous journey. Right, it's supposed to be a continuous journey. Okay, so let's start. Let's start today's session. I'm going to share my screen. Please kindly confirm you can see my screen. You can rehat, or our moderator, I believe, you will help me to just let me know if you can see my screen. Please, Gani, can you see my screen?
It's loading, sir. Maybe my network.
Okay.
Fine, I can see it now, sir.
All right. Okay. Sorry, give me a second. I'm coming. Okay, so I believe Gani have helped me out with some of the introduction already. The ground rule, we all know that already. So let's quickly look at what we are doing today. So our agenda today, we are talking about Power BI service, right? And we'll be talking about workspace, deployment pipeline, which is our major topic for today. We'll be talking about deployment pipeline, which is our major topic for today. Then we'll be talking about dashboard, manage access, refresh, scheduling, and we also do some question and answer. I hope time permits us because I'm even asking my moderator to extend my time for me. So I hope time permits us to be able to finish all these things today because it's more of like a demo and practical section. So you can practice along if you can, but if you cannot practice along, you can just look and I believe that there is a recording. So after the section, we can always look at the section. So we will be talking about deployment pipeline. So let me see, or I want to get a feedback. Does anybody know deployment pipeline in Power BI? You have heard of deployment pipeline before. I want to hear one or two person to tell me what deployment pipeline is in Power BI. You can just drop your answer, or you want to talk, you can raise your hand. And if you have not heard about deployment pipeline before, you can say you have not heard about the deployment pipeline before. So I just want to get one or two reaction or feedback from our participants. No. Okay, someone said no. Okay, that's fine. If you have heard of deployment pipeline before, say yes. If you have not heard of deployment pipeline before, say no. It is new to me. No. Okay. 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 I think okay, it's fine. It's fine. I think a lot of some I can say like no, 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 no. So it's I think okay, someone said something I have heard about before, but I don't know so much about it. Okay. Okay. So basically our topic today is to talk about Power BI service. So but I'm going to focus the today's discussion on the deployment pipeline. And I have a reason why I choose this topic. Every other topic that, creating dashboard will generate it from this particular topic. There was a time that someone reached out to me like a year ago, and the person said, can I develop a Power BI? Can I build a deployment pipeline in Power BI? And my answer was no then, because I have never heard of deployment pipeline in Power BI before in my life. And I think a lot of people that are learning Power BI does not know that it even exists. And the funniest thing is that when I later know about the payment pipeline, because it was a job opportunity then that the person want to give me, but because I did not know the payment pipeline, and I have to refer someone else for the job and all. But to my surprise, when I later learned about the payment pipeline, doing my research and later learned, I was like, so this is what deployment pipeline is all about. And, that is how I, lost a job I could not get, though I'm working, though it's not like I lost a job like that. So, but you know, it's so like just like a 20 minutes or 1 hour tutorial that maybe if I have done it earlier, you know, I will have secured a I actually lost that contract. So and it's something that I feel like, okay, for this our mentorship section today, let's introduce ourselves to what deployment pipeline is. It's not something totally new or something that's you know, hard, right? It is just a process in which you know, you as the Power BI developer, you grow in your Power BI life cycle. So they call something a life cycle. So deployment pipeline is like a life cycle of of your development. So when we talk about deployment pipeline, we're talking about how you manage your workspace, the content in your workspace, how you move from one stage to another stage. So when you hear about deployment pipeline, we talk about the development stage, we talk about the testing stage, and we talk about the production stage, right? So the circle that you have to pass before you release your product to the end users or to your stakeholders, or you know, whoever the users are. So that is, before you can get a product to the users, it has to pass through a what is it called, a stage or process. Now I know that most of us here, you know, we are used to Power BI. After we are done creating Power BI reports, we put it on social media, and we think that everything is accepted like that. That is not how it is in the real business, in the real world. When you are working in an organization, you don't just create a report and put it on, you know, and assume that you are done. So in the real business, your reports have to go through several stages. The development, when you develop it, will take it to UAT, which is user acceptability testing, that your stakeholder have to test your report. They have to do validation, right? After they do validation, they now migrate the report to what? To production for the end user to use. So this life cycle of development, that is what we are going to talk about today. Then we'll talk about, you know, how to create a dashboard, how to create you know, scheduling, and some other things that we'll talk. Then if time permits us, we'll look at question and answer. So let's go to the practical section.
Excuse me,
Please
sir.
let me know if you, okay, please go on.
Please, some people are saying you should put your presentation in slide mode show so they can see it very well. It's very tiny for them.
Okay. You can share this you can share the slide with them, right? You can share with them. Don't worry. If you have it, you can share with them so that we won't take much of our time. They can go through it at their own hand here. You can share the slide with them if you can do that. Okay, so let's move on because of time. We just have an hour. So because I understand that you guys still have another section today. Okay, so now we are going to be looking at this very simple you know, report. So we're going to be looking at this very simple report. Now, this is a report that I have developed. I am the developer, right? So I have developed this report. Now, I want this report to go through the pipeline, through the deployment pipeline, through stages. And what are the stages that I'm talking about? The development stage, the testing stage, and the production stage. Now, in my database, like my data source, where these data are coming from, I have different schemas. I don't know whether you are familiar with schemas in database relation, right? If you know SQL, you should be able to familiar with what a schema are, right? Now, I have different schema, which are what? The testing schema, the production schema, and the development schema. As a developer, I am working currently on the dev schema. right? I am working what? Currently on the dev schema, meaning that the data that I will be exposed to will be more current than the data that will be exposed to the testing schema or the production schema. It's just like product. When you are trying to release a product, you have created a product. Now maybe you want to update a product. You might have not released the latest update for people to use. Maybe the first thing is that you first need to take it to people that will test the product. After they test that product, you now say, okay, this product is confirmed and everything is fine. Then we'll move it to the what? To the public for public view. The same thing we are talking about here in Power BI. I know some people will be like, what is this person saying? So did they have to go through all this process in Power BI? That is how it is done in real business. We don't do reports and just give it to clients like that. We have to go through users, do through a lot of testing before we release it to the end users. So now, like I said, we are going to go through the stages of, the development stages, the testing stages, and the what's it called, and the production stage. Now, if you look at my report, right? So if you look at this report now, if you look at this total record that I have here, I have a total record of 9,400. You can see some other elements in this report that we have here. So what I want is that I want to be able to dynamic change how things are or what my end users can see at this moment. So I'm going to create a parameter. So let's create a parameter. So the parameter is going to be something that, okay, at this level, this is the testing stage, this is the production stage, and this is what? The development stage. So let's see how we can create a parameter. Maybe if you have not created a parameter before, let's see how we can create a parameter. So I will go to Power Query. I believe everyone should be familiar with Power Query by now. So we're going to create a parameter now. So let's create a parameter. I will go to manage parameter, and I'm going to click on new parameter. I'm going to click on new parameter. So I will call this parameter what? I will call it a schema. I'll call it what? A schema, because it is just a schema that we want to change. The data that we are putting in those schemas, they are exactly the same. The only thing is just that the schema does not, those schema does not have exactly the same data at the moment, because we first need to develop the data in the development stage. When we confirm that we are done with the development, migrate the data to the testing stage. After that, we migrate it to the production stage, that we are finally sure that our data is fine. So now I'm going to click on type. Our type will be text, then current value. So current value should be let's say dev. Let's say dev. That will be our current value. Our current value should be dev. Dev means development. So I'm going to click on OK. So can you see I have created a parameter called what? Called schema. The parameter name is called what? It's called schema. Now, I will go to my table, to this crypto name. Then I will go to navigation. Can you see under the navigation? Then I'm going to change this production, because as at this moment, sorry, I said development earlier. This table is at the production stage. Is at the we are looking at the production schema at this moment. So I'm going to change this production. I'm going to put schema there instead of the production. I'm going to put schema here. Can you see? I have put the schema that I just created. I will go to my date table as well. This date table as well. I'm going to change this as well to schema. So I'm going to change it to schema as well. And I'll also go to my last table to change this to schema as well. So I'll go to navigation, then I will change this to schema as well. So I will change it to schema as well. So now you might have seen that nothing happened, right? Nothing have happened, but something have happened here, because we have created a parameter. The parameter is going to be dynamic. Anytime we call the dev will answer us. Anytime we call the test will answer us. So let's see the implication of what we just did in the front end. So I'm going to close and apply. So let's close and apply now. Now, let's apply change. Okay, so now let's see, something is going to change now. Something is going to change in this our report now. Something is going to change. Let's look at this total record. Now, our total record now is what? Is 9,700. This is actually the development schema. This is where we are still developing, because now let's try to change from development to test schema. So from here now, I'm going to click on edit parameter. When I click on edit parameter, I'm going to change my schema here to what? To test. Now, if I click on test, I'll click on OK. Then let's apply the change. Let's apply the change. Now, when we apply the change, we have how many records? How many records do we have when we apply the change? It's loading. How many records do we have? How many records do we have? Maybe our moderator can help us. I just want to get the feedback. Please, I hope everyone can still hear me. Can you guys still hear me? Someone said they can't see anything. Okay,
9,500. 9,500.
All right, okay. Yes, thank you. Now we have 9,500. That is what we have. Yeah. So now you can see that the data that we have in our schemas are what? Are different. Now what we want to expose to our stakeholders at different stages is going to be different, right? Because in the development stage, we are still developing it. When maybe we are collaborating with our colleagues and our colleagues are satisfied, okay, this thing is fine. Now, let's migrate the data to the testing stage. Now, in the testing stage, the people that are going to test it also, they confirm that the data is fine. Then we migrate the data also to what? To the production stage, right? So that is exactly what we are talking about, right? We are talking about what? Deployment, pipeline. Now, let's change it back to development, to dev. So let's click on OK. It will change to what? To 9,700 record as we have it before. So okay. So now we have our data back at 9,700, right? Now, when we talk about the deployment pipeline, it is not here that we are creating the deployment pipeline. We have not done the deployment pipeline because at this level, your stakeholder cannot see anything because we have not even published the whole project or work to the workspace where we can share link for our stakeholder to see what we have, what we have developed. So now we'll now move to the Power BI service, which we actually want to focus on today. So on the Power BI service, we are going to create what? We are going to create a deployment pipeline. We have something called deployment pipeline in Power BI service. Maybe this is your very first time of hearing it. So on the Power BI service, when you open your Power BI service, at the bottom left, right? Maybe at the bottom left, you will see deployment pipeline. Now let's click on deployment pipeline. So it's going to open a wizard for us to create a deployment pipeline. Now we're going to create a new pipeline. Can you see? So let's click on new pipeline. Now let's name our pipeline a name. Let's give it a name. So let's call it analytics extra pipeline. So now let's click on next. So to create the pipeline now. Now can you see? So you can see the development, test, and production, right? These are the pipeline that we want to create. This pipeline, they are workspace. They are what? They are workspace. So let's click on create and continue. Now we have created what? The pipeline. We have created what? The pipeline. Now, this pipeline is what? Their workspace. You will see that we must assign a workspace to each of these pipeline. We must what? We must attach a what? A workspace to each of these pipeline. Now, let's talk about workspace, how you can create a workspace if this is your very first time of, of coming to Power BI service. Now, to create a workspace, I already created two workspace, which is the Analytics Extra Dev and the Analytics Extra Text. If you look at this workspace, there is nothing inside them. So let's check them. Let's check. Can you see? There's nothing inside the workspace at the moment because we have not published any work into our workspace. So if you look at the text workspace as well, there's nothing inside. But let's create one workspace for the sake of people that are just coming, to the Power BI service for the very first time. So I'm going to click on New Workspace. Now let's call this workspace Analytics extra prod. So this is the production workspace. Now, the production workspace is the final stage, which means that this is the workspace that our client, the end user, they will be exposed to. You see the development workspace, they are not going to be exposed to that workspace. It is only us that we are developing the project, that we are developing the product that will be exposed to that workspace. The testing workspace is for people that are doing Q&A, the people that are doing testing. Once they test the product and they validate that the product is fine or our dashboard is fine, we move the data, we deploy that product to what? To the production workspace, which we just created now. So I won't really talk much about this place. Let's just click on apply. Let's click on apply. You can do some workspace images and all in your workspace. So let's quickly talk about the workspace. You can do manage access. So let's assume that you want to collaborate with people, right? You want to collaborate with your colleagues, you want to add people to your workspace, you can click on add people or group to your workspace. So if I type Elijah now, I have another account that is associated. If I click on another associated email, I can assign this person to this workspace. So if you are working in an organization, right, people within your domain, right, you can add them to a particular workspace. You can add them to a particular workspace. So, but you must be careful to people you add to a workspace. And when it comes to access as well, you must be mindful of access you give them. So you can say manage access as well. When you click on manage access, you can give people different roles, right? So let's assume that I have this person now, Elijah. So you can see that we have viewers access, admin access, member access, contributor access, different access that you can give people to a particular workspace. Now, please, you have to go and read up on this access. You have to go and read them up, right? So that you will know what does the admin access means, what does the membership access mean, what does the contributor access mean. So these access are not the same. The viewer access is when you are talking about production, right? You mostly give them the viewers access because at this point, they are not expected to what? To edit anything. It is just for them to what? To come and view the dashboard, to come and see what you have created. They are not expected to what? To do anything editing. So you mostly give them the viewer access at this point. So that is that about managing access. Please, are we getting it? Let me get a feedback. Are we following? Are we together? Let me get a feedback from you guys. And I hope you guys are enjoying the section. Hope it's not boring. Are you getting it? Let me get a yes from you. Okay. Someone said no. What happened? Emily, what happened? Let hear. What's the issue? Emily, you said no. What is the issue? You can just do it. You can drop your whatever issue you are facing. Okay, so Emily, where do you get it? Where are you not understanding? I am not understanding at all. So I am really enjoying your teaching. Okay, so what exactly are you not understanding? So that maybe I can quickly do a recap of what, or maybe you join late so that I will know where to okay. So what exactly are you not understanding? So let me get a feedback from you, Emily. I don't understand that schema part. Okay. Okay. Someone said he doesn't understand the schema part. Okay. Type of asset. Can anyone please list the type of assets? So we have the admin assets, contributor assets, the members assets, the viewers assets as well. So, okay. Emily, I'm actually waiting for your feedback to know what exactly you did not understand. Because if you are on this section and you do not understand, it's just well, you can go back to the recording, but let me get back a feedback from you what exactly you did not understand. Let me get a feedback from you. So Emily, we are waiting for you. Or if you want to speak, you can also raise your hand. The moderator will allow you to speak. I guess I will just revisit the past recordings. Okay, that's fine, no problem. So a quick recap of what we are talking about. We are talking about deployment pipeline, and I said something around that deployment pipeline involve different stages, the development stages, the production, the testing stages, and the production stages. When you are developing a product, you don't just release a product because you have released it. You first collaborate with your colleagues at work. Okay, look at this work that I've done, this work that I've created, what are the issues with it, and your colleagues have validated it. The next thing is that you move it to UAT. UAT is when you do testing. You do testing of your dashboard, you ensure that the accuracy of your data are correct. Then after the UAT, they have validated it at the UAT. Then you migrate it to what? To production, where your end users will have access to this data. So before you can do this thing, you have to go through a pipeline. It is through a pipeline that all this process will go through, right? And that is exactly what we are talking about today. I understand that is not something that might be easy to get at once, but you can always go back, so after the session, and I will also recommend a channel for you that you can also use to, in case if you are not getting it from here, I will always reference another video for you to grab it. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. Now, you can see now that we have our pipeline, and let's assign workspace to this pipeline, to this our pipeline. Now, the development pipeline, I'm going to assign the dev workspace to it. The testing pipeline, I'm going to assign the text workspace to it, while the production pipeline, I'm going to assign the production pipeline workspace to it. All these are just workspace, different workspace that we have created for our project, right? Now, we have assigned workspace. So make sure that you check. Okay, so let me check that we have assigned. Can you see successfully assigned workspace? So can you see successfully assigned workspace? So we have assigned workspace to all these our pipeline. Now let's go back to our Power BI. So let's go back to Power BI. Let's go back to Power BI. So now, please, can you confirm you can still see my screen, Ganil, just to be sure that every other person can see my screen and I'm audible enough. Just need to confirm that.
We are good, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Now we are going to publish this our report to our development workspace, because we cannot just quickly publish this work to production workspace. Because why? We need to first collaborate with our colleagues to ensure that, okay, what we have done is actually exactly what is expected from us, right? Because you cannot collaborate here. The only place you can collaborate is on the Power BI service. That is the only place you can do collaboration, right? So now let's publish this report. So let's publish it to what? To our development workspace, where we will collaborate with our colleagues at work, and if you are the only person that is doing it, just make sure that you first, you publish it to the dev workspace first. So you can see that here now, analytical extra dev, that is the workspace that we created for our dev workspace. So we are going to publish there now. So we are publishing already. So can you see? publishing crypto price movement analysis. So we are publishing it already. So now we have published this data, this report, the semantic model, and the report. We are publishing, but there is something that happened. What happened? Your file was published but disconnected. So it's telling us that we have published this report, but it has the data source has been disconnected from it. So what does this implies is that when we try to refresh the data, it will not refresh. Why? Because the data source has been disconnected, right? Now we need to what first connect our data source back to our semantic model. So now let's go back to our Power BI service to see what I'm talking about, disconnection and how to connect your data source back. So now you will see that in our pipeline, we have, so something happened here. In our pipeline, something has been detected. You will see that in this pipeline that we are saying now, this icon, it has changed from green to yellow, right? Or whichever color that is here, or maybe brown or something. Now, the reason why this thing changed is because something is in the development pipeline that is not in the test pipeline. Hello, something is in the development pipeline that is what? That is not in the test pipeline. Now, let's check, let's scroll up. Now, in the development pipeline, can you see? In the development pipeline, we have what? Crypto price movement analysis, which is our what? Our semantic model here. Can you see? Whereas in our test pipeline, there is nothing here. There is nothing what? There is nothing here. So the changes between these two pipelines, it is being detected by by this particular pipeline. So it's telling you that we have two objects that is in development, but it is not what? It is not in the test pipeline. So maybe you might need to, do you want to deploy from here to this place? So, what exactly we want to do is to deploy, right? Now, before we even do the deployment, let's go to our workspace. So let's go to our workspace. So let's go to the workspace. Now, this is our workspace. This is the report that we just published, right? So let's look at the report. So let's look at the report. So now this is the report and everything is fine, right? We have total record of 9,700, which is fine, perfectly. That is exactly what we want to be seeing here. But something happened when we published this report. It said that it was disconnected. Now, how do we connect it back? How do we connect it back? So now, if we try to do a refresh, let's assume that maybe there's a new data from our data source and we try to refresh this, it's not going to refresh. Can you see? Something went wrong. Refresh failed because the semantic model requires what? A gateway. Please select a gateway from semantic model setting. Now, because our data source is on-premises environment, and whenever you hear on-premises environment, whenever you are publishing anything from on-premises environment to the cloud environment, you must use a gateway. You must use a what? A gateway. So you have to download gateway, set up your gateway, and once you set it up, you connect it to your account, then you can now connect your data source back. So let's see how we can connect our data source back. So let's see how we can connect our data source back. So now you can see that the refresh icon here is not visible for us to, is not enabled for us. Now let's click on the gateway and cloud connection. So here, I'm going to click on gateway and cloud connection, then scroll down. Now, can you see? This is our data source. My data is coming from SQL Server. So this is our what? This is our data source. Our data come from where? From SQL Server. This is where the data are coming from, in case you did not know. And someone asked me, what is the schema? When I said schema the other time, these are what? So if I do, let me quickly do something. So let's quickly look at something. I know this is not SQL class, but for sake of clarity, so let's do something. So let me say select all from, so let's run this, connect. So now, when we talk about schemas, right, this prod is a schema. This prod here is a schema. If I change it to what? To test, and I run this thing, it's still going to give me a data. Can you see that we have 9,500 record from our source data? Now, let's do for development, for dev. If I do for dev and I do execute, can you see that this is 9,700 that we have? So this schema is what we created like a parameter in Power BI. So whenever you change you change your schemas, it's also going to change, you know, the record for you. So that's simply what we did. So I hope I've answered the person that has question around the schema the other time. Now, this is our data source, right? So we need to connect this data source to our cloud environment. So that's exactly what we are talking about. So now let's click on map to what? So map to what? So let's create a new connection. So I'm going to say add to gateway. So let's create a new connection. So let's create a new connection. So let's call it data, let's say crypto data source, right? Crypto data source, that is the name of the connection that we want to create. Now we have SQL Server, which is our connection. You know, all this one you can use. I'm currently going to use window. Then this is my password, my username, then password. Let me put a password. Then I'm going to click on create. So let's keep this one. Now let's go back to our gateway. So let's go back to our gateway. So in our gateway now, let's map. So I'm going to map crypto data source. That's what I just created now. So I'm going to click on the crypto data source. Then I'll click on apply, right? So I'll click on apply. Can you see it has applied? Now let's go back to our workspace, our dev workspace. Now, if you try to refresh, now it's going to be successful. It's going to be what? It's going to be successful, because at this time we have connected our what? Our data source to our semantic model. And we can even create what? A schedule refresh. Well, we'll talk about that when we migrate this data to another development. So now let's move on. But you know, it's going to, at this point, the refresh is going to run successful. So can you see it has run successful? Can you see 3:41? And that is what the time is at the moment. And you can see the refresh has done so. So if you have a new data that we have updated, if you refresh it, we'll see the updated data here. So now let's go to our test workspace. Let's go to our test workspace. Now, in our test workspace, can you see that there is no data here? There is no what? There is no data in our text workspace. Now, we are not going to republish anything to this text workspace. We are going to use what? Our deployment pipeline to bring in data into this place. So I will go back to my pipeline. So I'll go back to my pipeline. So from this pipeline now, this is where we will now deploy. So from this our pipeline, I will click on the text pipeline. Then I will select my semantic model and my report. Now, can you see we are on test? You can see that this place is saying test. Deploy from where? From development. You can change where you want to deploy from, right? So you can say what? Deploy from what? From develop. You are deploying from here to this place. Now let's deploy. You can have more objects. Like what I mean by object is that in case you are working with Fabric, you know, you can have data flow, you can have maybe like all the Synapse notebook, all the, you know, pipeline. You can have more than 2 objects that you want to migrate, right? So now let's deploy this. So let's deploy this. So can you see you're about to deploy? Yes. So let's deploy to our text workspace. Let's deploy to our text workspace. So now let's assume that in our dev, what we have at the moment is certified. Now we have what? We have migrated to what? To the to the text environment, right? Okay, it is deploying. The deploying is still on. So any question why this is deploying? Any question? Any question? Any question? Oh, a lot of people are saying it's confusing. Okay, I understand. I understand. Does this deployment pipeline work only for data set gotten from SQL that was important? No. It doesn't work only with the data set from SQL. It can work with data set from Excel Excel. It can work from data from SharePoint. It can work from data from Azure. Any data source. It doesn't have to be only SQL. We ask question after this section because of our time. Okay, it's fine. So can you brief recap on creating parameter in Power BI query? I guess I will revisit the past recording. Okay. Okay, I guess some of us are just hearing new language today. Okay, how do you open that SQL? Okay, so it's a lot anyway. I thought this is an advanced class, so you guys should be advanced at this moment. So it's fine. So I guess my network is really it might be slow. So what I will do now is that I'm going to close this. So let me close this because this deployment is supposed to have been successful, but maybe because of network or something. So let me close it and open it again. So let me close it. So let's close it because of time. So let me quickly. Okay, so let's just go back. So it's a cloud environment, and whatever you are doing save automatically. So you don't have to worry much about what you have done. So let's go back to our deployment pipeline. So you come back here, go to deployment pipeline, then you will see your analytical extra pipeline. Let's just click on it. So let's click on it. Okay, can you see? It is now successful. Can you see? Successful deployment. Now, because we have successfully deployed to this test, you can see now that in the production now, the production is now highlighting that yellow box. It's showing that sign that there is something in the text workspace that is not what in the production workspace. Can you see? Now, let's go to our workspace and check our text workspace. Now, let's check our text workspace now. So let's check our text workspace. So you can see that in our text workspace, we have the report and the semantic model here. If you click on this crypto price movement now, you will see that you have what? You have the data from the deployment, from the dev workspace. Can you see that we have it here? Now, there is something that we want to control, because we want to control what our stakeholder will see. That is why we created that parameter in Power BI. So at this moment, I don't want the stakeholder to be seeing this particular report that has 9,700 record, right? I don't want them to be seeing the latest data. So that is why we created what? The parameter. So I'm still going to show you how we can change that parameter within the pipeline. We can also change the parameter within the pipeline so that in this test environment, we will not be seeing a record of 9,700. What we'll be seeing is what? 9,400 or 9,500, as case may be in your own case. You understand? So we are still going to look at how we can change that. So let's go back to our workspace, because let's go to our text workspace. Now, if you try to refresh as well, you will get an error here. If you try to refresh, okay, you might not really get an error here because you are still using the same. Okay, yeah, you will get an error just like the way we get it the other time. So at this moment, I believe that you know how to do connection now, how to connect your gateway. So you just click on the gateway again and connect it. So you just map it to what? Map it to your crypto data source. Can you see? Then you apply. So it is very, very simple like that. Okay. So now, let's move on. So let's move on. So let's go back to our deployment pipeline. So let's go back to our pipeline. So maybe after you have, you are done successfully, you can also migrate. You can what? You can migrate from the test to the production. You can what? You can migrate from the test to the production. But something is very, very important to us here, right? We don't want our end users, we don't want the people in the test environment to be seeing what we have at the moment. We just want them to be able to see, maybe, by the time you start the deployment, you don't want them to see what you guys are doing in the deployment at the moment. Maybe you just want them to see what has been there before, right? So that is why we created that that parameter that we created in Power BI. Now, how do you change the parameter in the pipeline? How do you change the parameter within the pipeline? Is that you click on this icon. Can you see this icon that look like a flash icon? When you click on the icon, you click on the semantic model, because this is like your data source. Then you will see data source rule or parameter rules. So currently we work on the parameter, because we can also do data source. Data source is just like saying that, okay, we are changing our source data, right? We are changing our source data, but this time around we are changing what? Parameter. So we are going to click on parameter, then we click on add a rule. Then I'm going to click on choose value, then schema. Can you see? We created this thing in Power Query, and it is obvious, it is showing here as well. You can see. Now, let's click on order. Then I'm going to rename this as what? As test. So at this moment, what I want to see is the test data. Is the test data that I want to see at this moment. I'm going to click on save. So let's click on save. Now let's close this. So let's close this. Then let's cancel this. Now, when you change your schema, something also happen again. At this point, the testing pipeline is telling you that something is wrong. And what happened? It's telling you that the data source that you deploy to me from the development is no longer the same thing again. Can you see? It's showing you this yellow icon or brown or something, that something is wrong. You need to go and check what have happened. So we understand what we have done. So what we will just do is that, what we are going to do is that we are going to redeploy again from the development to the testing. That is just the only thing that you're going to do. So I'm going to click on test now. Then can you see the difference from source? Is this one is the difference. The semantic model is the one that is different. The report remain what? Same as source. So nothing changed here. So I will just click on this semantic model, then I will deploy again. I will redeploy it. So let's redeploy it. So can you see we are redeploying it now? So we are redeploying it. So can you see? Okay. If this take time, we might need to, because this deployment sometimes it's always take time. I don't know why it's always like this, but let's see. Let me see if there's question. Some of us are just sharing. Okay, I think I've seen how do you open the SQL? Okay. Okay, there's no question. Okay, it's fine. So let's continue. Let's continue. Okay, so in case this is taking longer than expected, and if your network is okay, so what I will just do is that because of time, let me close this and we'll come and reopen it again. So let's close it. I don't know why it's like that. So let's close it and open it again. I don't know why it's like that. So let's reopen it again. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back to our pipeline and see if the pipeline has run successful, which I expected to have run successful. So let's click on the pipeline. So one thing that I will let you to understand is that even if you are not understanding what we are talking about at this moment, it is good for you that you have been exposed to it. You understand? Now, maybe later on, you cannot take your time to understand it. It's fine. That maybe, this is your very first time of hearing deployment pipeline. You have not created parameter before in Power BI. It is fine. The moment you have been exposed to it, you can now take your development to learn further about it. So you can see now that now we have our deployment successfully deployed, right? Now let's go to the workspace. So let's go back to the workspace, to the testing workspace now. So let's go to the test workspace. So let's go to the test, because what we want to see in the test workspace is what? We want to see the data from that schema, not from the development data, right? That is what we want to see. So okay, as at this moment, we can see this 97. Are we in the, let me confirm if we are in the test workspace. Sorry, I think this is the, so let's confirm we are in the text workspace. This is text workspace, okay. So let's check. Let's check. Okay, so now, can you see that in the text workspace, something has happened? Something happened. Can someone tell me what happened here? I want to see who might get what happened. In the text workspace, you know, some of our visuals are not correcting, you know, some you can see blank, and you know, some figures are not even, they are showing 000. So can someone tell me what happened here? After we deploy, or after we change the schema name to text, something happened, and you know, can anybody just tell us, maybe he has an idea on how we can fix this error? Anybody? I want to see someone that is following. The values are not showing. Yes, I know the value are not showing. So can someone tell us why the values are not showing? I want to see. Total record is gone. Okay, so what do you think happened? If you want to speak, you can speak. You can speak. If you want to speak, you can raise your hand. If you have an idea why that is not showing, anybody, our data source is missing. God bless you. So this person has actually answered the question, you know, very well. The data source is missing. The data source is what is missing. We need to what? Go and reconnect our data source. The data source has changed because in the development schema, in the development source, our schema there is what? Is dev. Now we have changed the parameter from dev to what? To test here. So we need to go and change it. So now what we are going to do is that we'll go to our workspace, go to the text workspace. We go to the text workspace, we go to our, you know, let's just click on this schedule refresh. So this will take us to this, our data source, which is our gateway. So let's come here. So now we are going to what? Remap this, our data source. We are going to what? We are going to remap it. So let's crypto data source. Something is happening here. Okay. So let me refresh. Something happened. Let's refresh. So let's refresh. Sorry guys, I know it is 1 o'clock already. It's almost 1, but you have to permit me. You have to give me some extra time. So please pardon me for that. So I think I've already told your crypto data source. Something is wrong here. Okay, so let's go back. I think maybe it has mapped automatically. So let's go back to the text environment. So let's go back. So let's go back. So let's do a refresh. So let's try to do a refresh. Let's try to do a refresh. This is our test environment now. So let's try to do a refresh. Okay, so it's refreshing now. Okay, that's fine. So it's refreshing now. Okay, it has refreshed successfully. So now let's go back to our report. So let's see our report now. Let's see our report now. Okay, now in our report, so you can now see that it has refreshed. Now, the data that we are now having in our test is what? Is 9,500. We are no longer having what? 97, right? We are no longer having what? 9,700 record again in our test, because at this test level, it is this record we want them to see. Once they validated that, oh, this record is fine, then we can now migrate this record maybe to the production. You understand? So maybe from the dev as well, maybe after we have done, maybe we have done a work today, they want to see a latest data tomorrow. So maybe by tomorrow, they are expected to see 9,700 tomorrow, right? That means that the difference between 9,700 and the dev environment is what? Is 200 record. Now we need to update this record as well, because okay, we have done it in the dev. Now we just need to make sure that we updated our data source, which is the test schemas as well, right? So that is how the deployment pipeline actually works. So let's quickly do the last one. Let's quickly do so let's go back to our pipeline. So let's go back to our pipeline. Please, I hope you guys understand how to connect, how to connect your data source when you have it broken. So now from the production now, so let's migrate. So let's migrate this. So let's migrate from the test. So let's migrate. Let's deploy rather. So we are going to deploy. So after deploying this, we are going to change the schema of this one as well, because what we want them to see is not exactly what is in the test until they have tested this. Maybe the testing team have tested it. That is when we can now say, okay, we want to migrate this. I really do not know why this I don't know why my deployment is not going successfully today. I really do not know why. I really do not know why. Okay, so we have to cancel it again and redo it again, because that's the only way that is going now. Because it's not supposed to take time, but I don't know why it's taking a lot of time to do this. Okay, so let me just quickly cancel it again. Sorry for that. I don't know why it's taking a longer time, but anytime I try to cancel it and redo it, it's always successful. Okay, just give me, we're almost done. We are almost done. Okay, so now let's quickly go back to the deployment pipeline. So we just want to quickly migrate from the test to the production workspace. So you can use it is successful. I don't know why it's like that. So now let's change this one as well. We are going to change the schema as well, parameter rules. So let's change it as well. So we're going to add schema. Let's change, order. So let's change to what? To prod. So at the production stage, the record we want to see at that production state is what? Is 9,400 record, right? It's 9,400 record. So let's so at this moment we go back and redeploy. So we have to redeploy from this place. We have to redeploy, which is our semantic model. So we are going to redeploy our semantic model. So let's redeploy this. Okay. This is going to take our time as well. Okay. Okay, so I have to cancel it again and reconnect again. Because if I open a new browser, I'm not sure it will work like that. But let me see. I'm not sure. So let me see workspace deployment pipeline. So let's see. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's quickly let's just reconnect it because I don't know. Maybe it's my network, which I cannot really say, but let's let's quickly reconnect. I think I saw a question here now. Let me check. Crash course or today's class. Where to start? Thank you. Why are we using the web for this? Oh, someone said, why are we using the web? You only use the web when you want to, whenever you want to do collaboration, you definitely use the web version. So you definitely use the web version. Whenever you want to collaborate, you use the web version. You can't use the development version to do that. So a lot of people are just, so a lot of people are just familiar with Power BI desktop. And there is more to Power BI when it comes to enterprise level. I know a lot of us on this call, it is only Power BI desktop that we know. We are not familiar with Power BI desktop or even the Power BI. You can even use Power BI on your phone. A lot of people does not know that. So you can see it is not successful, right? So let's go to our production workspace. So let's go to our production workspace. Let's go to production workspace. So we will know that when we open the production report, we will not have the latest data. So let's just quickly go and fix the data source connection. So let's fix it. So let's fix the data source connection. Okay, it's loading. Okay, so it has connected. Okay, so let's go back. Production. Yeah. So let's open it now. So let's open it now. So now you can see that it's still not showing you the latest data, but let's refresh. Let's do a manual refresh from here. Supposed to have updated now. Okay, it has not yet updated. Okay, so that means that we have to do a manual. We have to do a manual refresh. So let's do a manual refresh. Something is wrong. I thought we connected this thing now. I thought we connected it. Okay, so now let's quickly talk about refresh. How to schedule a refresh. So how do you schedule a refresh? So when you connected your data source, you can come to this refresh. So you can pick when you want this data to be refreshing on a daily basis. So maybe if you are living in Nigeria, now for people that are in Nigeria, you have to pick your time zone, right? So you look for West Central Africa. So you look for your time zone. You can schedule a refresh. So if I want this report to be refreshing on a daily, you can see daily. If I want it to refresh on a weekly, you can see weekly. So let's say daily. So daily, at what time do we want this refresh to happen? I want this refresh to happen by, let's say, 8 a.m. No, let's say 2 p.m. 2 p.m. should be fine. 2 p.m. every day. This is when I want this report to be refreshing for the end users. I want this report to be refreshing every day for the end user. So you can see that you can schedule a refresh. If you want it to be on a weekly basis, you can also schedule for weekly as well. You can select it for weekly, and you can even add another time to this your refresh. Maybe you want it, if this one failed, you can add another time. Let's say you can also refresh by 4 p.m. You can also refresh by 4 p.m. So you can add more refresh time to it. So now let's quickly go back to our production workspace. So let's quickly look at our, I'm not sure whether I refresh that. So let's see, or maybe I will have to do manual refresh before it can. So I have to first do manual refresh before it can show. Okay, so let's do manual refresh. So let's do manual refresh. So let's do manual refresh. Why is this saying something wrong? I really don't know. think this network is really affecting this one, because I've mapped this thing and it's disconnecting it again. Okay, so let's refresh this. Okay, I think it's fine now. It's fine now. It's refreshing now. Okay, so okay. Okay, so while it is refreshing, let me see if we have question. This is not hard. Okay, please can we get a crash course? Okay, so there's no question for me at the moment. Okay, so let's quickly look back. Okay, it's still refreshing. I guess my network is very slow. Okay, it has successfully refreshed. So now let's quickly look at the report and see what we have. Let's see what we have at the report. So now if you have not seen the latest data here, just come to this top right and refresh from here. On this top right, you see this icon here to refresh. So now you can see now that we have our latest data. Now in the production table or workspace, can you see that we have 9,400? So we have created a parameter to change what we want to see at each workspace in our pipeline. Right? We have changed what we want to. So if you have the latest data by tomorrow, you have already schedule your refresh. This pipeline is going to work. It's going to run on its own. You don't have to to be doing it manually every day to refresh manually every day. So so basically that is that. So the last thing that we need to quickly look in the next 5 minutes I should be able to done with that. So let's quickly look at how to create a dashboard in Power BI service. I'm very sure that someone will ask me, what is dashboard again in Power BI service? So what we have created, or what am I seeing here, is it not a dashboard? This is not a dashboard. What we are seeing at the moment is a report. Anything you develop within Power BI desktop and you publish it here is what? Is a report. So now let's see how you can create a dashboard within the Power BI service. So now to create a dashboard is a one single page where you is a single page report from different report pages. So now I have this report page. Let's go to this Bitcoin page, this Bitcoin page. So let's create a dashboard. So I'm going to pin this. So on this place, I'm going to click on pin and I will see new dashboard. So let's call it analytics extra. So let's call it analytic extra dashboard. Analytic extra dashboard. So let's pin it. So I've pinned that. So let's also pin this. I'm going to pin this to the existing dashboard. I'm going to pin it. So let's pin this circulating supply as well. So I'm going to pin this as well. So now let's go to our dashboard. So let's go to the dashboard. Now, this is the dashboard. This is where exactly what we call dashboard. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake. So let me go back. So this is the dashboard. So you can see this is your dashboard. So this is, so we can, let me change the dashboard theme because I like the black. The black is always interesting to see. So let's save this. Okay, so now this is what we call dashboard in Power BI, not what you think you might have known that is a dashboard. So this is what we call a dashboard. So let's call this Bitcoin. So let's call it Bitcoin, apply. Okay, so now let me go back. So let's quickly do one or more to this dashboard. So let's go to Ethereum. Let's say that I want to add the Ethereum metric to the dashboard as well. So let's pin this. So we just pin the visuals. So we want to pin the visuals from different report page. We want to pin it to a dashboard. So a dashboard is a single page report, right? Like I said, it's a single page from different pages of report that you have created earlier. So you can see. So this is circulating supply. So this is what we call dashboard. What you do in Power BI desktop is not a dashboard. It's called what? It's called a report. So this is when you create a dashboard. So this is when what? When you create a dashboard. So let's call this one Ethereum. Ethereum. So okay, let me use this. Okay, so let me just do one more. After we do the one more, then we entertain questions and answer. So let's do one more. So let's go to Binance, BNB. For people that know that are in the Web3, if you know Web3 or you know crypto very well, so you can also do analysis on crypto as well. So let's pin this. I'm going to pin this as well. Pin this as well. So let's pin it. Then let's go to dashboard. So okay, so let's put this here. So let me resize this. So you can resize, can see. So this is what we call a dashboard in Power BI, not this one that you have here, not this that you have in Power BI there. So this is not a dashboard. So this is just what? These are reports. What you have here is what? They are called what? They are called reports. The real dashboard is what we now have here. This is what we call a dashboard in Power BI. So you can, if you go to your workspace now, if you go to your workspace, you go to the production workspace. That is where we created the dashboard. So if you can you see analytical extra dashboard? If you want to see the dashboard, this is where we created the dashboard. If you open it, you will see your dashboard that the dashboard that we just created. So that is that on Power BI, on the Power BI service that we are talking about today. So a recap of what we discussed earlier. So we talk about how to create a workspace, how to create a pipeline, and how to migrate data from development stage to the testing stage to the production stage. And we also talk about how to create a parameter to dynamically change what your end user can see at a particular time. And we also talk about how to schedule a refresh and also how to create a dashboard within the Power BI service environment. I know it's a lot, but we definitely need to go back and to learn more, because there is more to Power BI than what you think you know. There is more to it than what you think you know. So I think we are done for today. And thank you guys for staying with me. So if you have questions, you have any concern, please, I think we can quickly use like 5 or 10 minutes to do that. Ganil, I think it's the mic is just now. Thank you very much.
Wow. So thank you very much. I also learn a lot. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. So as we usually do, please raise up your hand if you have any question. And please note the question and evaluation form has been pasted in the chat. It is already pinned, so please check that out. So we have Mr. Kolawole Ilesami here. So I'm going to unmute you now so you can speak. Mr. Kolawole, you can speak. Kolawole
Hello,
Ilesami.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I can
Hello.
hear you. Yes,
All
yes, I
right,
can
all
hear
right.
you. Please tell me.
Good afternoon, Mr. Foronshaw.
Good
Thank you very
afternoon.
much for this amazing section and also teaching. So very quickly, I let me say that I'm actually confused at a particular point, and that's when you talked about the test schema, the development schema, and then also the what's it called, the production schema. So where I'm actually confused there is going back to the SQL server. Are you are we using different tables to create those what was it called now? Are we using different, though those tables have the same schema, like the, what will I call it now? There was a place where you changed the dot. I think you did one particular place that it was pro dot fact table. Then you change it, you said we can change it to text dot fact table, then also def dot fact table. So my question, and where I'm really confused now, is it that we are using different tables to build the report? Are you getting my point like that? Are we using different tables? Like inside this SQL database now, does it mean that we have different tables, that it is dev.fact table, pro.fact table, and then test.fact table? So I want to confirm that, so that, because the way you were actually naming those data sources and changing those data sources, like it really got me confused. So that's my question. Thank you very much.
All right, all right. Yes, yes, I understand. We cannot be explaining everything, one after the other. So, like you said, right? Like you said, the tables are different. We have the dev table, we have the text table, and we also have the prod table. Now, what you have in the prod table is what? 9,700 record, meaning that maybe we have updated a record for like maybe let's say April and June, maybe let's say June 4 and June 5. It is the data that we have not loaded in our test data. So what you just need to do is what? Maybe in our test data now, if you run your test record now, okay, you just have about 9,500 here. That means that we still have two records that we have not updated yet. You can, maybe it is a script that you will run, right? So you can just run a script. So let me just quickly copy a script, this script. So let me copy it to show you that you can, this is just like normal, the way you will be updating your data. So insert into production, or let me say insert into the text, right? We want to insert into the text from dev.fact, right? So we want to insert this particular record, because what we want to expose to our end users, we only want to expose today's data. Even if we have tomorrow's data, we don't want to expose it to them yet. So whenever they are testing it, it is what we want them to see. We allow them to see. So you, the developer, will not be the one to go and update the text environment, or probably there is an integration that you have done. So there's a way you can even integrate this thing. You don't need to be writing it every day. You can write like a procedure that will be automatically creating this thing for, maybe from the dev schema, just migrate a particular data for you into the test schema. Then at this time, you can give it a time that, okay, by 10 o'clock, migrate from the test environment to the production schema, because maybe by 10, it is 10 o'clock, the people that are testing it, they will look at it. Maybe by 2 o'clock, that is the time you want the end user to see it. And, the migration will move directly like that without human interference. I don't know whether you get the concept now. Do you understand the concept now? Mr. Kayode.
To some extent, I would say that I actually understand you. Like, with my understanding of databases, I understand. Let us go back to the Power BI itself, where you created what was it called now? Where you created procedures. Was it procedures? Managed something that you created there, where you the Power BI itself, the Power BI, not the Power BI service now.
Okay.
The Power BI, where we imported the what's go. So there was a place where you created those procedures. Exactly, this place.
Okay.
So
The schemas. Okay.
where you did manage something, you created some stuff there. So my question now is, exactly, these parameters rather. Thanks for that. So
Yes.
these edit parameters now my question is that, like, those things that you edited there, are they the data sources, or they are meant to serve as a fictional, should I call it fictional now, or like an empty table, just to represent test, production, and also the development. So I want to get that, like, I think this was where I actually got confused. Like at this point, that was where I actually got confused. So I really want to know if those stuffs that you created, if because if you check your tables, the tables that you imported here, I don't think we have anything like dev or test and also production. I believe it's only one table that we have here. So how you now changed all these to create these parameters? So that was where the whole thing let me say that
Okay,
got me confused.
I understand. I understand. Okay, so now what we did is that we have three tables from our data source, which is the dev, test, and production table. Yeah, those tables exist, right? But you know that these three tables, they are coming from what? The same database, meaning that they are in the same folder, right? The only thing that changes there is their name. It's just, for example, now we have Folorunsho Ajala, we have maybe another person bearing Shola Ajala. Now, all of them, they are bearing Ajala. The only thing that we want to remove from them is that, okay, Shola that is bearing Shola, whenever we want to, I'm just using that one as an example. I don't know how I will illustrate it. The same thing, right? The table view is the same. The structure is exactly the same. But the only thing that is not the same is that their name is just the schema is just like a surname, right? Okay, we just want to change the surname. When we change the surname, definitely, if I change surname of Shola to Elijah, now the age, let's talk about age now. Maybe Shola is 10 years old and Elijah or Folorunsho is 20 years old. Their age is not the same thing. The same thing happens here. When we change from the dev to the text, the record is going to change because it is the scheme. We created a parameter. So now let me show you something. Maybe this is where maybe you understand from here now. Now, if I go to my fact data here, now at this point, we are having dev. If you see that in our schema here, it is the dev that I have here. It is the dev. Now I can change this dev to what? To production. Now let me go to my schema and I change it from here. Let me change it to production here. Right? I've changed it. Now, if I go to my fact data here and I refresh this table, it's going to be fetching the record from the production table for me. It will have changed it from dev to production. Do you understand it now? Do you get it now?
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm flowing like that. I think I'm getting
It's not
that.
easy to it's a lot. You have to first go and you yourself have to
And
first implement it. It is when
that's true.
you try to implement it yourself, that's when you understand the content. If you don't understand it, you can probably chat me up on LinkedIn or just to check what you have done and see how the implementation goes. But we can make an attempt. You will see that you will also get the same thing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you
You
very
get the
much, sir.
same thing. All right. Any other questions so that I will not stay much here? Any other question?
Okay, we have Mike Irene. Yes, sorry for the name pronunciation. So I'll meet your mic. You have the floor. Michael, you can speak now. Hello, Michael. Please unmute your mic.
All right, good evening.
Yeah,
Can
good
you hear
evening.
me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can
it's
hear
not
you.
a
Good evening.
question. You see, I've been working with Power BI, and in fact, today can I say you throw me off balance, or you throw most of us off balance? I don't know. So I think in the course of the lesson, you said you were going to refer to some videos. So I say, let me remind you, so you won't forget.
Yes, I will do that. So what I will just say is that in the video that I will reference you to, they did not use a database. So I think someone also asked a question earlier on that is it only a database that we can use? So they didn't use a database there. They use SharePoint, but it is exactly what it is a replicate of what I did with a database that you can also make use of it in a SharePoint. So I'm going to reference the videos for you guys. Let me see if I can get the video. Maybe I can just drop it on this call so that you guys will not miss that out. So let me try and let me look for the recording here. Any other question? I think any other question? Let me try and look for the recording. Any other question? Ganil, any other question?
So any other question? Okay, today's topic is understanding Power BI on the web, and thank you. So since there is no questions, thank you very much. And also, if I have question, I'll be in your DM, sir. So to ask about the pipeline deployment stuff. Thank you very much. We are happy to have you here with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
All right, no problem. So let me quickly drop let me
LinkedIn
drop the I even want to drop the source, so the video source. You can drop the video source. So I've dropped the video source that you can watch. Then let me also drop my LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Probably you have an issue with the deployment pipeline. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we'll look at. Let me drop my LinkedIn account as well. So okay. Okay, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I've dropped the reference recording as well, so you can look at that videos. I think it's very easy and simple to follow. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, guys. I think you have another session. So let's let everyone go and rest so that they can prepare for the next speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. Kindly drop thank you and react with emoji for Mr. Folonsho. Thank you very much. So now please do remember, I'm going to stop the recording now. Please do remember to fill in your evaluation